Have you ever noticed how some people seem to grow richer without stress, while others work tirelessly and still struggle? The difference is not luck, connections, or long hours. It's how they think, how they act, and how they see themselves when it comes to money. The secret law of effortless wealth is about understanding the hidden rules that make money flow naturally when your mind, habits, and choices are aligned. You will learn how to stop reacting out of fear, build trust in yourself, and create small daily actions that compound into real financial growth. This is about more than earning money. It's about feeling calm, confident, and in control while wealth builds around you. By the end, you'll realize that effortless wealth isn't a dream, it's a mindset, a way of living, and a set of daily practices anyone can start today. If you follow these principles, your approach to money will change forever, and opportunities you never noticed before will start showing up in your life. Chapter 1. Reset your relationship with money and self-worth. Money is more than numbers. It is a reflection of how you see yourself. If you feel unworthy, no amount of money will ever feel comfortable. Every financial decision you make is influenced by your self-worth, even if you don't notice it. Many people work hard for years and still struggle because deep down they believe they don't deserve abundance. That belief quietly shapes actions, choices, and opportunities. Understanding this is the first step toward effortless wealth. People often think wealth is about effort alone, but effort without alignment is wasted energy. If your mind and emotions are at odds with your financial goals, you will face resistance every step of the way. You may push, pull, save, and invest, but if you do it with tension, anxiety, or fear, the results will never feel satisfying. True wealth grows comfortably when your inner beliefs and outer actions are aligned. That alignment begins with resetting your relationship with money and your sense of self-worth. Most struggles with money come from invisible rules we accepted without question. We were told money is hard to earn, that wanting more is greedy, or that rich people are selfish. These messages shape the way we respond to opportunities and even define the boundaries we unconsciously set for ourselves. Breaking free from these old rules requires awareness. It begins by observing how money makes you feel in real life. Does thinking about wealth tighten your chest or knot your stomach? Does receiving payment or a raise feel uncomfortable? These feelings are signals from your nervous system that your beliefs need attention. Resetting your relationship with money starts with understanding that it is okay to want abundance. Deserving money is not arrogance or greed. It is recognition that your skills, time, and energy have value. Feeling worthy of success allows you to make decisions calmly instead of out of fear. You begin to make choices that align with your goals, not your insecurities. When self-worth increases, effort no longer feels like struggle. Tasks that once drained you start to feel manageable. Opportunities that once felt intimidating now feel accessible. Your history with money affects your present in subtle ways. If you grew up hearing phrases like money doesn't grow on trees, or we can't afford that, those ideas become internalized rules. They shape how you think about spending, earning, and investing. You may find yourself hesitating to negotiate, undercharging for your work, or avoiding finding growth altogether. Recognizing these patterns is crucial. Awareness alone begins the process of change, because once you notice the limitation, you can consciously choose to replace it with empowering beliefs. Effortless wealth is built on trust. Trust in yourself and your ability to handle money responsibly. A person who does not trust themselves will panic at opportunities or make impulsive choices. They may hold back from investing in growth or reject offers that could elevate their life. Trust is strengthened by keeping promises to yourself. Simple actions like saving a fixed amount each week, tracking expenses, or learning a new skill consistently build a sense of control and confidence. Each small victory reinforces the belief that you can handle more. Self-worth and financial behavior are inseparable. If you feel small or undeserving, you may overwork to prove yourself, give away value freely, or accept less than you are capable of receiving. On the other hand, someone with strong self-worth sets boundaries naturally. They ask for fair value without anxiety. They say no without guilt, and they make decisions that support their long-term goals. Boundaries in this sense are not selfish. They are essential for creating a sustainable life of growth and wealth. Effortless wealth is not about avoiding work. It is about reducing unnecessary resistance. When your inner world is aligned with your financial goals, the same effort produces more results. You can work less but achieve more because your energy is focused, your decisions are clear, and your actions are intentional. This is why resetting your relationship with money is foundational. Without it, every financial effort feels heavier, and stress accumulates faster than progress. Emotions play a larger role in wealth than most people realize. Anxiety, shame, guilt, or fear around money affects judgment. When the mind associates wealth with danger or discomfort, every choice is filtered through that lens. Investments may feel riskier than they are. Opportunities may seem too intimidating. Even saving or budgeting can trigger stress. Changing your internal dialogue is key. Begin to see money as a neutral tool for growth, not a test of character or morality. Neutrality creates clarity, and clarity allows smarter decisions. Mistakes with money are part of the process, but they often create guilt and self-criticism that slow progress. Resetting your relationship with money requires learning to separate actions from identity. Mistakes do not define your worth. Each decision is an opportunity to learn, adjust, and improve. By approaching financial growth with curiosity instead of judgment, you create a safe mental environment where wealth can grow naturally. Effortless wealth also depends on consistency. Small repeated actions compound over time. Saving a little regularly, investing a small portion steadily, or building skills incrementally produces results that appear effortless in hindsight. But these actions must be performed with confidence and self-trust. When a person acts from insecurity or self-doubt, even consistent efforts are undermined by hesitation, fear, and indecision. Self-worth fuels consistency. Without it, routine becomes struggle. The relationship with money extends to how you receive it. People often undervalue themselves and struggle to accept income or support. They feel guilty when rewarded or uncomfortable receiving help. This discomfort signals a misalignment between self-worth and financial reality. Learning to accept money gracefully is as important as earning it. Receiving is a skill. It requires recognizing your own value and understanding that abundance does not diminish anyone else. Resetting your relationship with money also involves patience. Growth takes time. Quick results often reinforce anxiety because they feel unstable or undeserved. When you develop self-worth, patience becomes easier. You trust that your consistent actions will yield results. You no longer chase fleeting success but build systems that last. Patience reduces stress, improves decision-making, and allows opportunities to compound naturally. Effortless wealth is reinforced by education and skill building. Knowledge about finance, investment, or business is valuable, but more important is internal education. Understanding your patterns, observing your decisions, and learning from mistakes strengthens the foundation. Each insight increases confidence. Each new skill reinforces the sense that you can manage more abundance. Knowledge without self-worth is incomplete. Self-worth without knowledge is incomplete. Together they create effortless alignment. Many people sabotage themselves without realizing it. They work hard but avoid asking for promotions, negotiating prices, or pursuing opportunities that could elevate their life. This is not laziness. It is an internalized limitation. By consciously resetting your beliefs about money, you remove these hidden blocks. You begin to see opportunities clearly, act decisively, and pursue growth without hesitation. Effortless wealth requires emotional balance. When you remain calm, composed, and clear, Financial decisions improve. Panic, stress, or excitement cloud judgment. When self-worth is stable, emotions remain steady. You stop reacting impulsively and start responding strategically. Stability of mind creates stability of wealth. Resetting your relationship with money is a process, not a single event. It requires reflection, honesty, and deliberate practice. Observing your habits, understanding your beliefs, and taking small, consistent steps creates change that compounds over time. It is not flashy or dramatic, but it is reliable. Reliability is the secret to effortless wealth. This approach transforms not only financial life but personal life as well. Self-worth, built through financial alignment, spills over into confidence, relationships, and personal development. When you feel deserving, you set higher standards, pursue better opportunities, and engage with life more fully. Your actions become intentional, your focus sharp, and your energy directed toward growth rather than distraction. Effortless wealth emerges when inner belief and outer action align. Money flows naturally to those who feel worthy, make deliberate decisions, and act consistently. Stress decreases, opportunities increase, and results compound without unnecessary struggle. Resetting your relationship with money and self-worth creates a foundation where effort feels productive, growth feels safe, and wealth becomes sustainable. Every person has the ability to transform their financial reality, but the first step is always internal. It begins with observing, understanding, and reshaping how you see yourself and your relationship with money. This is the foundation for effortless wealth. Once the internal alignment exists, external success follows. By committing to this internal work, by valuing yourself, and by taking consistent, deliberate actions, you create a system where money is no longer a source of tension, but a tool for growth. This alignment reduces struggle, increases clarity, and allows wealth to grow naturally. Resetting your relationship with money and self-worth is not a quick fix. It is a lifelong investment in your ability to live freely, act decisively, and achieve more than you once thought possible. Chapter 2. Train your mind to feel safe around growth. Growth is uncomfortable for most people because the mind naturally resists what it does not understand. The brain interprets new experiences as a threat until it learns otherwise. Every time you step into unfamiliar territory, your body reacts with tension, your heart rate increases, and your thoughts race. These are not signs of weakness. They are signals that your nervous system is adjusting to a new level of experience. Understanding this reaction is the first step to training your mind to feel safe around growth. Most people believe that courage means absence of fear. In reality, courage means taking action while fear exists. A person who has trained their mind to feel safe around growth does not eliminate fear. They acknowledge it, observe it, and continue forward anyway. This creates a calm confidence that allows decisions to be made clearly instead of reactively. Calm confidence grows over time with repeated exposure to new experiences, not through sudden leaps or rare moments of inspiration. The mind craves familiarity because it equates safety with survival. Comfort zones feel easy and predictable, but they limit potential. Every skill you want to develop, every opportunity you wish to seize, exists outside that familiar zone. To expand, the mind must learn that change is not danger, but a natural part of progress. This lesson is learned through deliberate, repeated practice, starting small and gradually increasing in scope. Each successful experience sends a clear message to the nervous system. Growth is manageable. Awareness is irritable. Begin by noticing your physical and emotional reactions when you consider a challenging task. Does your stomach tighten? Do your thoughts become negative? Do you find reasons to delay action? These are not flaws, they are indicators. Once you observe them without judgment, you can respond thoughtfully. Awareness allows you to see patterns that have unconsciously controlled your choices. Recognition of these patterns is the first tool in retraining your mind to accept growth. Safety is not automatic, it is constructed. It begins with preparation. A prepared mind reduces uncertainty. Understanding what steps to take, visualizing outcomes, and creating structured plans signal to your nervous system that the new experience can be handled. Structure does not remove challenge, it allows the mind to engage without panic. When preparation is combined with repeated exposure, the brain learns to associate growth with competence rather than threat. Action is the teacher. Small steps taken consistently are more powerful than dramatic gestures. Trying something slightly beyond current ability and succeeding builds confidence. This could mean speaking up in a meeting when it feels uncomfortable, learning one new skill each day, or taking responsibility for a task that challenges your limits. Each completed action reinforces the belief that you can grow safely, and over time, these beliefs compound into a stable mindset. The mind often confuses discomfort with danger. Physical reactions, like increased heartbeat or rapid breathing, are mistaken for a sign that something is wrong. In truth, these are simply the body adapting to new stimuli. Like muscles that strengthen under tension, the nervous system adjusts when exposed to controlled stress. Practicing calm responses during these moments teaches the body that expansion is manageable, reducing unnecessary resistance. Previous experiences strongly influence the perception of safety. Many people were conditioned to fear failure or criticism. Early punishments or harsh judgments create a mental blueprint that equates mistakes with threat. To retrain the mind, you must redefine what mistakes mean. They are information, not judgment. They are feedback, not punishment. Each time you approach a challenge and survive it, the nervous system updates its assessment, learning that growth is not fatal. Language shapes perception. The words you use internally influence emotional responses. Instead of saying, "This is too hard," which signals danger, reframe your thought to, "This is new," which signals opportunity. Subtle shifts in language adjust how the brain perceives a situation. Over time, these adjustments create a more accepting mindset, allowing you to engage with challenges without fear or avoidance. Consistency is essential. The mind learns through repetition. Sporadic exposure creates uncertainty, while steady practice reinforces safety. Engaging with small challenges regularly signals that growth is a normal, predictable part of life. This consistent approach diminishes anxiety and builds trust within the nervous system. The body begins to accept expansion as routine rather than threat. Breathing and posture play significant roles in signaling safety. Slow, deliberate breathing activates the parasympathetic nervous system, which counteracts the stress response. Upright posture communicates readiness and control, not panic. Combining these physical adjustments with cognitive strategies strengthens the body's response to challenge, creating a feedback loop that encourages calm, confident action. Boundaries and environment also impact how safe the mind feels around growth. Surrounding yourself with supportive individuals and clear spaces reduces external chaos that can amplify fear. Environments that promote focus, calm, and structure teach the mind that taking steps forward will not result in overwhelming chaos. In contrast, environments filled with distraction or negative influence make even small risks feel threatening. Emotional regulation is a cornerstone of mental safety. Growth often triggers frustration, impatience, or doubt. Observing these emotions without acting impulsively allows you to maintain clarity. Techniques such as pausing before responding, Journaling reactions or reflecting on lessons learned prevent emotional turbulence from hijacking decision-making. A steady emotional state signals to the nervous system that challenges are manageable. The mind needs proof. Every time you stretch beyond your current limits and return intact, it registers success. Each small victory is evidence that growth is safe. Over time, this accumulation of evidence diminishes hesitation and internal resistance. When the mind has proof, fear diminishes and confidence naturally rises, making the pursuit of further growth smoother and more predictable. Self-compassion accelerates this process. Harsh self-criticism reinforces the idea that mistakes are dangerous. Gentle acknowledgement, reflection, and adjustment teach the mind that imperfection is part of learning. A compassionate approach reduces anxiety and creates a safe internal environment for experimentation and growth. Visualization then strengthens the sense of safety. Mentally rehearsing steps and outcomes prepares the mind for actual performance. Imagining success, anticipating challenges, and planning responses reduces perceived threat. Visualization acts as a bridge between unfamiliar experiences and the mind's need for predictability, allowing more fluid engagement with growth opportunities. Patience is necessary. Growth is gradual. Expecting immediate transformation triggers stress and undermines the learning process. By committing to consistent, deliberate action and accepting incremental improvement, the mind begins to anticipate progress rather than fear it. Patience reassures the nervous system that the process is controlled and manageable. Separation of identity from outcomes enhances safety. When results define self-worth, every setback triggers fear and avoidance. Detaching identity from immediate results allows experimentation without emotional overload. The mind learns that trying and failing does not threaten the self, only informs the next step, reducing defensive responses. Exposure therapy for growth involves controlled, repeated challenges. Begin with tasks slightly beyond comfort, observe reactions, adjust approaches, and repeat. Each cycle builds tolerance and resilience. Over time, tasks that once caused anxiety become routine. This methodical exposure rewires neural pathways, reinforcing the belief that growth is safe, predictable, and manageable. The mind also thrives on clarity. Knowing objectives, expected obstacles, and potential outcomes reduces the threat response. Uncertainty magnifies stress. Clear goals and actionable plans communicate to the nervous system that progress can be achieved without undue risk. Clarity combined with steady action is a powerful signal that growth is safe. Growth safety depends on recognizing internal resistance without judgment. When the mind offers excuses, procrastinates, or seeks distraction, it is signaling perceived threat. Observing these behaviors and choosing deliberate action despite them teaches the nervous system that discomfort does not equal danger. This repeated practice diminishes internal resistance over time. Rewarding progress reinforces new neural patterns. Celebrating small achievements conditions the mind to associate growth with positive outcomes rather than stress. Recognition does not need to be external. Acknowledging internal milestones strengthens confidence and safety. Integration of learning into daily life ensures stability. Growth practiced in isolation may feel risky when applied broadly. Consistently applying new skills, knowledge, or behaviors across contexts reinforces the mind's perception that expansion is normal and non-threatening. The more generalized the practice, the stronger the sense of safety. Effortless growth emerges when mental safety is established. The mind approaches new challenges calmly, evaluates options clearly, and acts intentionally. Decisions feel less exhausting because internal resistance is minimal.
Opportunities are seized naturally because fear no longer dominates. Energy that once fueled anxiety is redirected toward productive action. Long-term perspective solidifies safety. Short-term setbacks no longer trigger panic because the mind understands progress is cumulative. Viewing growth as a marathon rather than a sprint prevents overreaction to temporary discomfort, reducing stress and maintaining steady engagement. The practice of mindfulness supports mental safety. Observing thoughts, bodily sensations, and emotional responses without attachment allows the mind to remain present during growth. Awareness without judgment decreases threat perception and promotes calm, focused action. Training the mind to feel safe around growth requires commitment, consistency, and strategic action. Each deliberate step, each small challenge, and each moment of reflection builds a stable internal environment where growth is no longer feared, but embraced. Over time, this creates a natural rhythm of expansion, learning, and achievement. Growth stops feeling like risk and starts feeling like a normal part of life. When this mindset is established, opportunities no longer intimidate. Challenges are no longer paralyzed. Every step forward is supported by a calm, prepared, and confident mind. The nervous system no longer reacts with unnecessary alarm. Instead, it engages, adapts, and thrives. This is the foundation for building a life of consistent progress, resilience, and success.
Chapter 3. Act from clarity instead of fear about money. Fear is a powerful force that affects every decision a person makes about money, often without them realizing it. Most people think they are acting logically, when, in truth, their actions are guided by anxiety, uncertainty, and past experiences. Fear distorts perception. It magnifies risk, diminishes opportunities, and encourages hesitation. A person who acts from fear often misses chances for growth, even when opportunities are clearly in front of them. Understanding this dynamic is the first step toward transforming financial behavior. Acting from clarity rather than fear requires training the mind to see the situation accurately, to separate emotion from fact, and to make decisions based on truth rather than imagined threats. Clarity begins with awareness. Most people react automatically to financial stress because their minds are flooded with what-ifs and worst-case scenarios. These thoughts are often repetitive and unproductive, creating a mental fog that obscures judgment. To act from clarity, the first step is to notice these patterns without judgment. Recognize when fear is influencing a decision. Naming it, identifying it, and acknowledging its presence reduces its power. Fear is only dangerous when it goes unexamined. By acknowledging it, you create space to choose action consciously. Financial fear often stems from uncertainty. People worry about bills, income stability, or economic changes. They imagine the worst outcomes repeatedly, which amplifies anxiety and narrows their thinking. Clarity comes from gathering accurate information and evaluating options calmly. When you understand your actual situation, you can distinguish between real risk and imagined risk. Knowledge is not a cure-all, but it provides a solid foundation to act without panic. The more you know, the less fear controls your decisions. Another source of fear is past mistakes. Many people allow past financial failures to dictate present choices. They hesitate to invest, negotiate, or try new ventures because they are haunted by previous losses. Acting from clarity means learning from mistakes without letting them paralyze you. Each past experience contains lessons, not judgment. Reviewing what went wrong, what was learned, and what can be applied now creates insight. Insight replaces fear with actionable understanding. Emotional management is crucial in creating clarity. Fear triggers physical reactions, tension, rapid heartbeat, and shallow breathing that make thinking clearly difficult. Learning to slow down, breathe, and observe physical reactions allows you to approach decisions with a calm nervous system. A calm body supports a clear mind. When fear decreases, perception improves, and the ability to evaluate options logically increases. Clarity also comes from defining goals. When financial objectives are vague, fear dominates because uncertainty fills the gaps. Specific goals act as a roadmap. They provide direction, set priorities, and reduce hesitation. Knowing exactly what you want allows decisions to align with purpose rather than reaction. Each choice can then be evaluated according to whether it moves you closer to your goals. This approach reduces distraction, minimizes impulsive reactions, and builds confidence in every step taken. Many people act from fear without realizing they are doing it. Procrastination, indecision, overcaution, or avoidance are all signs of fear-driven behavior. Clarity changes this by creating a framework for evaluation. List options, assess risks and benefits objectively, and make a plan of action. Decisions become less about avoiding loss and more about achieving gains. Acting deliberately from clarity transforms financial behavior from reactive to proactive. Risk assessment is part of clarity. Fear exaggerates risk, creating paralysis. A person acting from clarity recognizes that every opportunity carries both potential reward and potential loss. The difference is that clear thinking allows preparation for both outcomes. Contingency plans, research, and foresight reduce actual risk and increase confidence. When preparation is present, fear loses its grip and action becomes feasible. Decision-making speed improves with clarity. Fear causes hesitation that slows progress. Indecision in financial matters often results in missed opportunity. When the mind is clear, choices are made promptly and intentionally. Each completed decision strengthens self-trust and reinforces the habit of acting from understanding rather than anxiety. Over time, this creates a pattern of reliable, confident financial behavior. Clarity requires detachment from imagined outcomes. Fear focuses on hypothetical disasters that may never occur. Acting from clarity means grounding yourself in reality, focusing on facts, and responding to actual conditions, rather than scenarios imagined by the mind. This approach prevents overreaction, reduces stress, and creates space for deliberate action. Practical strategies support clarity, regularly reviewing financial statements, tracking income and expenses, and understanding obligations reduces uncertainty. Knowledge of actual numbers eliminates fear rooted in assumption. Budgeting, forecasting, and scenario planning provide a sense of control that counteracts anxiety. The more transparent the picture, the less fear dominates behavior. Self-confidence is strengthened through small, deliberate actions. Each successful step taken with awareness reinforces the belief that you can handle more complex decisions. Confidence builds incrementally, creating a foundation for taking larger, more meaningful financial actions without being paralyzed by fear. Acting from clarity becomes a habit as experience accumulates. Surrounding yourself with reliable information and trusted advice further enhances clarity. Fear often grows in isolation, when questions go unanswered and doubts multiply unchecked. Seeking knowledge from credible sources, mentors or advisors, provides perspective. Input from experienced individuals can highlight options and solutions that were overlooked, further reducing anxiety and enabling informed decisions. A person who sees challenges as manageable tasks is able to evaluate and respond with logic. Developing a mindset that embraces problem-solving rather than avoidance cultivates clarity. Over time, the habit of thinking analytically replaces instinctive fear response. Financial planning reinforces clarity. Structuring decisions in advance, setting limits, and preparing for contingencies allows action without panic. Preparedness signals to the mind that challenges can be met systematically, reducing the emotional load associated with uncertainty. A plan does not eliminate risk,
but it shifts focus from reaction to execution. Fear is often fueled by comparison. Observing others' success or wealth can trigger doubt and anxiety. Clarity requires focusing inward, assessing your circumstances, strengths, and opportunity, evaluating personal capacity and resources rather than external benchmarks prevents unnecessary fear from influencing decisions. Comparison distracts and inflates perception of risk. Personal metrics keep judgment grounded. Every choice made from fear carries a cost. It may protect temporarily, but it limits growth. Opportunities passed by, investments avoided, and negotiations skipped result in stagnation. Acting from clarity allows you to make informed choices without hesitation, turning potential loss into potential growth. Understanding the cost of fear motivates conscious decision-making. Visualization and mental rehearsal help bridge fear and clarity. Imagining yourself making a sound financial decision, handling challenges, and achieving goals prepares the mind for real execution. Visualization provides familiarity, reducing the novelty that triggers fear responses. It primes the nervous system for calm, deliberate action when the real moment arises. Clarity involves distinguishing between controllable and uncontrollable factors. Fear thrives on obsessing over what cannot be changed. Focusing energy on what can be influenced empowers decision-making. This shift reduces wasted mental effort and allows the mind to engage with practical solutions rather than being consumed by imagined danger. Accountability reinforces clarity. Sharing plans or decisions with trusted individuals encourages follow-through. Accountability creates external structure and feedback, which prevents fear-driven hesitation. When actions are observed and supported by others, mental certainty strengthens and fear diminishes. Patience is essential. Acting from clarity does not mean rushing into decisions without thought. It means taking time to assess, prepare, and choose wisely. Rapid reaction driven by panic often results in mistakes. Deliberate timing, combined with careful evaluation, ensures that choices are sound and confidence is maintained. Clarity is further strengthened by emotional resilience. Financial outcomes are unpredictable. Losses or setbacks are inevitable at times. A person who acts from clarity prepares for disappointment without panic. Emotional resilience allows recovery, adjustment, and continued progress without letting fear dominate future decisions. Developing habits of reflection enhances clarity. Daily or weekly review of financial actions, lessons learned, and upcoming decisions allows for assessment of patterns, identification of fear-based behaviors, and reinforcement of deliberate action. Reflection creates insight, reduces reactive behavior, and fosters continuous improvement. Simplicity supports clarity. Complex strategies and overcomplicated plans can confuse the mind, creating doubt and fear. Breaking decisions into manageable, clear steps makes action straightforward. When each step is understandable, the mind perceives lower risk, reducing anxiety and promoting consistent progress. When the mind is trained to act from clarity rather than fear, financial decisions become a source of empowerment rather than stress. Opportunities are evaluated accurately, risks are managed intelligently, and actions are deliberate. The nervous system responds calmly, the body does not tense unnecessarily, and confidence grows steadily. Consistent practice strengthens the habit. Each decision made with clarity builds a framework for the next one. Experience accumulates, fear diminishes, and the ability to navigate complex financial landscapes improves. Acting from understanding becomes automatic, and avoidance or hesitation fades. Clarity transforms every aspect of financial life. Income decisions, investments, negotiations, spending, and saving are all approached strategically. The mind sees options rather than threats, opportunities rather than obstacles, and progress rather than stagnation. This shift in perspective not only improves results, but also creates emotional and mental freedom. When fear is replaced by clarity, wealth and opportunity expand naturally. Decisions are made intentionally, Confidence increases and momentum builds. The mind no longer reacts reflexively to imagined threats. Instead, it engages purposefully, leveraging knowledge, preparation, and insight. This is the foundation for sustainable financial growth and a life of consistent, confident action.
Chapter 4. Choose long-term calm over short-term excitement. Most people chase immediate satisfaction without realizing how much it costs them in the long run. The thrill of instant gratification feels good for a moment, but it rarely builds anything substantial. Every decision you make between a quick reward and a steady, controlled approach shapes your future in profound ways. Long-term calm is a deliberate choice that produces stability, growth, and freedom, while short-term excitement often brings temporary pleasure, followed by stress, regret, or lost opportunity. Understanding the value of patience is the first step toward choosing calm over fleeting impulses. Impulse is natural. Humans are wired to respond to what feels rewarding immediately. Bright lights, loud noises, and rapid feedback trigger pleasure centers in the brain. The problem arises when those natural impulses override thoughtful decision-making. People spend money they don't have, commit to relationships that drain them, or take actions that seem exciting but lack purpose. Each of these choices produces momentary joy, but can undermine long-term goals. Choosing calm requires awareness of this natural tendency and intentional resistance to it. Clarity is essential in making long-term choices. Short-term excitement blinds people to consequences. It encourages decisions based on emotion rather than understanding. Long-term calm relies on perspective. When you think in terms of months or years rather than hours or days, the value of steady, thoughtful action becomes apparent. The ability to envision the future with detail and realism allows you to prioritize decisions that may not feel immediately thrilling, but serve your life strategically. Financial decisions provide a clear example. Impulse purchases often feel satisfying but rarely align with long-term security. Choosing to save, invest, or allocate resources toward goals may feel boring or restrictive, yet it creates stability and opportunity. Each deliberate financial action reinforces self-control, reduces stress, and establishes habits that compound over time. Short-term excitement may bring dopamine quickly, but long-term calm produces wealth that grows without anxiety. Emotions often mask the consequences of impulsive behavior. Anxiety, excitement, and desire distort judgment. People mistake activity for progress and pleasure for fulfillment. Long-term calm requires emotional discipline. Recognizing feelings without letting them dictate action is critical. Calm does not mean suppression, it means measured response. The ability to pause, reflect, and decide based on values rather than emotion ensures that actions support lasting goals. Every choice is an investment of energy. Decisions made for immediate reward consume mental and emotional resources and create fatigue. Decisions made with foresight conserve energy and produce compounding benefits. The brain responds to repeated patterns. Practicing calm strengthens pathways that favor deliberate, productive action. Impulse strengthens pathways that reinforce distraction and short-term gratification. Over time, the mind adapts to the type of decisions you habitually make, making self-control easier or harder depending on your patterns. Self-awareness is the foundation of long-term calm. People often confuse excitement with meaningful engagement. A bright, stimulating activity may be enjoyable, but it does not contribute to growth or long-term success. By reflecting on past choices and outcomes, you can identify patterns where short-term thrills led to stress, wasted time, or lost opportunity. Awareness allows deliberate change. Observing impulses and questioning their consequences trains the mind to favor choices aligned with long-term objectives. Delayed gratification is a skill that can be cultivated. It is not innate for most adults, because habits of instant reward dominate modern life. Learning to delay reward creates discipline, strengthens resilience, and builds confidence. Each small success in resisting immediate temptation is evidence that you can prioritize the long term over the short term. Repeated practice increases the ability to make strategic decisions effortlessly. Consistency reinforces calm. Short-term excitement often produces erratic action, creating cycles of highs and lows. Consistency creates stability, allowing results to accumulate without unnecessary stress. Daily routines, steady work habits, and gradual progress all contribute to a life in which calm, deliberate action becomes the default mode. When the mind trusts the process, fear and impulsivity diminish naturally. Clarity of values guides decisions. People who act from excitement often have vague priorities or shifting goals. Long-term calm comes from understanding what matters most and letting these values shape decisions. Each choice is evaluated according to alignment with objectives rather than emotional appeal. This approach reduces regret, increases satisfaction, and enhances the ability to navigate complex situations without distraction. The nervous system responds to repeated experience. Frequent exposure to short-term thrills trains the body to expect stimulation, increasing restlessness and reducing patience. By practicing calm, you retrain the nervous system to tolerate delay, uncertainty, and gradual progress. Physical reactions to waiting or planning become manageable. Over time, the body and mind perceive long-term actions as safe and comfortable rather than stressful. Learning to prioritize long-term calm also requires managing attention. Most people allow external stimuli to dominate focus, creating reactive rather than intentional behavior. Notifications, social comparisons, and sensationalized media pull attention toward immediate gratification. Deliberate focus on goals, tasks, and meaningful progress strengthens the ability to remain calm in the face of distraction. Attention management directly supports sustainable growth. Relationships also reveal the contrast between short-term excitement and long-term calm. Many connections are based on thrill or novelty, producing intense but temporary feelings. Long-term fulfillment comes from trust, alignment, and shared purpose. Choosing relationships based on depth rather than immediate appeal mirrors the principles of financial and personal growth. Emotional stability, reliability, and commitment create conditions where long-term calm can flourish. Decision frameworks enhance calm. When faced with multiple options, evaluating each according to long-term benefits rather than immediate pleasure provides perspective. Questions such as, will this help me in a year, or does this align with my priorities, guide rational assessment. Clear frameworks reduce impulsivity and increase confidence in choices. The brain interprets novelty as reward, which is why short-term excitement is appealing. Calm requires intentionally reorienting the mind to appreciate stability, progress, and predictability. Experiencing satisfaction from achieving goals, observing incremental improvement, or mastering a skill provides deeper, more sustainable pleasure than momentary thrills. Long-term calm is inherently rewarding when the mind learns to recognize its value. Time perception affects choices. Short-term excitement prioritizes the immediate, creating distorted perception of urgency. Long-term calm considers the continuum of months and years. Decisions are made with foresight, minimizing unnecessary stress and maximizing the probability of achieving meaningful outcome. Temporal perspective allows clarity in evaluating options and reduces impulsive reactions. Patience is cultivated through reflection. Daily or weekly review of actions, progress, and outcomes reinforces the benefits of calm, deliberate choice. Observing how decisions made for long-term benefit produce positive results
increases motivation, and strengthens habit formation. Reflection transforms abstract principles into tangible experience. Stress reduction supports calm decision-making. Immediate thrills often produce spikes in stress and adrenaline, followed by emotional crashes. Long-term strategies minimize these fluctuations. Nutrition, rest, exercise, and deliberate planning stabilize energy and mood, allowing the mind to evaluate options without distortion. Physical and emotional balance is central to making deliberate choices. Self-discipline is a byproduct of choosing long-term calm. Each resisted temptation, each delayed impulse, strengthens neural pathways associated with deliberate action. Over time, acting strategically becomes easier than reacting impulsively. Discipline reduces anxiety, prevents poor choices, and allows consistent accumulation of desired outcomes. Financial planning exemplifies this principle. Budgeting, investing, and saving may feel tedious compared to spending impulsively, yet these actions produce measurable long-term benefits. The thrill of immediate purchase fades quickly, but the security, freedom, and opportunity created by strategic financial planning increase steadily. Long-term calm creates space for creativity, calculated risk, and confident action in ways short-term excitement never can. Mindset is the foundation. Those who habitually choose immediate thrills often rely on external validation or emotional highs for motivation. Those who embrace long-term calm cultivate internal standards, purpose-driven action, and intrinsic satisfaction. Self-motivation replaces reactive behavior, reducing stress and increasing resilience. Resilience is strengthened through measured exposure to challenges. Immediate excitement can mask growth opportunities because it distracts from deeper learning. Calm focus allows engagement with difficult tasks, reflection on mistakes, and steady progress. This cumulative growth produces stability, confidence, and sustainable achievement. Simplicity supports calm. Complex strategies, rapid multitasking, and constant novelty create mental overload. Simplifying choices, processes, and priorities reduces cognitive burden, allowing the mind to act deliberately and confidently. Minimalism in focus amplifies the value of long-term actions. Reward structures reinforce calm behavior. Acknowledging small, consistent achievements creates internal motivation and sustains discipline. Over time, these rewards surpass the fleeting pleasure of excitement, reinforcing the habit of acting strategically and with foresight. Choosing calm affects emotional life. Impulsive decisions often lead to regret, guilt, or stress, which diminish confidence and motivation. Acting with patience and foresight produces satisfaction, self-respect, and stability. Emotional reinforcement strengthens the mental patterns associated with deliberate action. Long-term calm and strategic patience extend to personal development, career growth, and health. Each domain benefits from choices that favor consistency over novelty. Skills improve, relationships deepen, and resilience grows when actions are guided by foresight rather than impulse. The brain adapts. Repeated practice of deliberate, calm decision-making rewires habitual responses. Over time, immediate thrills lose disproportionate appeal, and the mind naturally favors strategic, long-term actions. Effort that once felt disciplined becomes instinctive. Long-term calm does not eliminate opportunity for joy. Excitement is not wrong. It is simply secondary to purpose. Purposeful action produces more lasting fulfillment than novelty alone. Mastering the choice between transient pleasure and strategic action empowers control over life, career, and finances. This approach creates freedom. By valuing calm, measured progress over fleeting thrills, you reduce chaos, minimize regret, and increase predictability in outcomes. Each action builds momentum, reinforcing the ability to navigate complex situations with confidence and composure. When long-term calm is consistently chosen over short-term excitement, life gains stability, financial growth accelerates, emotional resilience strengthens, and opportunities expand naturally. Decisions are no longer reactive, they are deliberate, aligned, and strategically executed. This mindset allows consistent success and sustainable fulfillment across all areas of life.
Chapter 5. Build trust with yourself through small financial promises. Trust with yourself is the foundation of every financial decision. Without it, even the smartest plans fail, and the most promising opportunities feel daunting. Many people underestimate the power of self-trust because they think it is built only through big achievements, but the truth is, it grows from small, consistent actions. Each promise you keep to yourself, no matter how minor it may seem, reinforces your confidence in your ability to manage money and make wise decisions. Small financial promises are like building blocks. Each one strengthens the mental framework that allows larger commitments and higher stakes to be handled with calm and clarity. Most people struggle with self-trust because their history with money is inconsistent. Perhaps they overspent, avoided budgets, or failed to save. Each lapse creates doubt, feeding a cycle where hesitation replaces action. Rebuilding trust requires deliberate, achievable steps that prove to your mind that you can act responsibly. Trust does not magically appear. It is the cumulative result of repeated, intentional actions that align with your goals. The first step is setting promises that are realistic. A promise should be challenging enough to build discipline, but achievable enough to avoid frustration. For example, committing to save a small fixed amount each week teaches consistency and reliability. Each successful fulfillment of that promise signals to the brain that you can handle responsibility. Over time, these small wins reduce fear and anxiety, creating a foundation where bigger financial moves become possible. Consistency matters more than size. A promise to save $10 every week is more powerful than a commitment to save a large sum sporadically. The reason is that reliability creates expectation and builds confidence. The brain learns to trust your intentions when it experiences predictable follow-through. Repetition reinforces the internal belief that you are capable of meeting obligations. This trust forms a mental safety net, reducing stress around financial decisions. Accountability plays a crucial role. Keeping promises to yourself is easier when you track progress. Journaling your commitments, reviewing actions weekly, or setting reminders strengthens responsibility. Each checkpoint allows reflection, reinforces success, and highlights patterns that need adjustment. Accountability is not about judgment, it is about recognition of achievement. The mind begins to associate effort with success rather than anxiety, reinforcing self-trust. Self-trust is also built through honesty. A person who deceives themselves about income, expenses, or obligations weakens their internal confidence. Facing reality, even when it is uncomfortable, strengthens decision-making. Transparency with yourself reduces fear because it removes surprises and aligns expectations with actual circumstances. The clearer your understanding, the more confident your actions become. Each promise kept strengthens more than financial habits. It strengthens discipline. Discipline is the muscle that allows long-term goals to be pursued without panic, stress, or erratic behavior. By keeping small financial promises, the brain learns that restraint and planning are not limitations, but tools for control and empowerment. Over time, this discipline extends to other areas of life, improving personal development, career decisions, and relationship management. Mistakes will happen. A promise may be broken, a plan derailed, or an unexpected expense may interfere. The difference lies in response. Self-trust grows when errors are acknowledged, lessons are extracted, and commitment is renewed. Failure is not the opposite of trust, it is part of building it. Each recovery reinforces the idea that setbacks are manageable and do not define your capability. Clarity enhances the power of promises. Before committing, understand exactly what you are promising. Vague intentions are difficult to fulfill. Specific, measurable and time-bound commitments create clarity. For example, I will save $50 every week for the next month is far more effective than I will save more money. Specificity allows evaluation, reinforces progress, and strengthens trust in your own reliability. Start with actions that have immediate feedback. Early results, even small ones, provide proof that promises can be kept. Tracking savings deposits, monitoring expenses, or recording payments demonstrates tangible success. Tangible proof strengthens confidence and provides emotional satisfaction. Positive reinforcement fuels momentum and increases the likelihood that habits will persist. Gradually increase challenge. Once small promises are consistently kept, introduce slightly larger or more complex commitment. Perhaps you increase savings, automate investments, or plan larger purchases responsibly. Each level builds on the previous one, reinforcing the belief that you are capable of managing increasing responsibility. The nervous system begins to associate financial action with competence rather than anxiety. Avoid overcommitting. Promises that are too ambitious create stress, guilt, and erosion of trust when they fail. Building self-trust is a process, not a sprint. Gradual, measurable progress is sustainable and reinforcing. Each successful step, no matter how small, is more valuable than a dramatic failure that undermines confidence. Patience ensures that growth is cumulative rather than erratic. Mindset is critical. Each promise kept reinforces the mental narrative that you are reliable, capable, and competent. This narrative guides future behavior. The more you believe in your reliability, the more effortless follow-through becomes. The brain learns to expect success rather than fear failure, reducing hesitation and improving decision-making. Self-trust influences every aspect of financial behavior. People who trust themselves pay bills on time, stick to budgets, negotiate confidently, and pursue investment opportunities. Lack of self-trust produces avoidance, procrastination, and reactive decisions. The internal belief that you can meet obligations shapes actions more than any external rule or system. Each promise kept is proof of capability. Visualizing commitments also reinforces trust. Mentally rehearsing following through on promises prepares the mind for actual execution. Anticipating obstacles, imagining successful outcomes, and planning responses reduce anxiety and improve consistency. Visualization bridges intention and action, creating familiarity that strengthens reliability. Rewarding progress strengthens motivation. Acknowledging each promise fulfilled reinforces neural pathways that support trust. Rewards do not need to be material. Internal recognition of consistency, responsibility, and growth is powerful. Positive reinforcement teaches the mind that keeping promises produces satisfaction and stability. Gradual exposure to responsibility builds confidence. Each commitment kept trains the mind to manage larger obligations. Trust grows proportionally with demonstrated capability. Over time, the fear that once accompanied financial decisions diminishes because the nervous system recognizes competence. Small wins accumulate into substantial confidence, enabling decisive, informed actions. Reflection supports growth. Reviewing promises, analyzing successes, and learning from failures provide insight. Reflection reinforces understanding, highlights improvement, and prevents repeated mistakes. It strengthens the connection between intention and execution, ensuring each promise kept contributes to long-term trust. External systems can reinforce internal trust. Automatic transfers, budgeting apps, and reminders reduce reliance on willpower alone. They ensure that commitments are met consistently, which supports the mind's confidence. Systems provide structure,
but the internal belief that you can rely on yourself remains central. Self-trust extends beyond money. Habits developed in one area influence others. A person who consistently keeps small financial promises becomes more reliable in relationships, career, and personal development. Patterns of trust generalize, creating a foundation of stability and confidence that permeates all areas of life. The practice of small promises creates freedom. When you know you will follow through, anxiety diminishes, decisions become clearer, and opportunities can be pursued without hesitation. Confidence becomes habitual. The mind and body respond with calm readiness, rather than tension or doubt. Each commitment kept also strengthens patience. Trusting the process requires waiting for results, tolerating delays, and managing uncertainty. Small, consistent actions cultivate patience, reinforcing long-term perspective and reducing susceptibility to impulsive decisions. Challenges are opportunities to reinforce trust. Unexpected expenses, financial surprises, or sudden decisions provide chances to act deliberately. Handling these situations successfully strengthens belief in capability and reinforces resilience. Repeated exposure to manageable challenges builds a robust, reliable sense of self. Emotional regulation is critical. People often break promises when emotions dominate decision-making. Anger, frustration, or fear can lead to impulsive actions that violate commitments. Practicing calm reflection and measured response ensures promises are honored, reinforcing internal confidence. Over time, trust becomes automatic. The brain expects success, reducing hesitation and internal conflict. Acting from a foundation of trust allows decisions to be made effortlessly, increasing efficiency, reducing stress, and enhancing outcome. Opportunities are recognized and seized rather than avoided. Trust also influences risk-taking. People who have demonstrated reliability are more willing to pursue calculated opportunities because they believe they can manage potential outcomes. This ability to act decisively differentiates those who achieve financial growth from those who remain stuck in cycles of doubt and hesitation. Accountability partnerships can reinforce internal trust. Sharing progress with a mentor or peer encourages reflection, reinforces consistency, and provides external validation. However, internal trust remains central. The partner serves as reinforcement rather than crutch. The internal belief in reliability is the foundation. Long-term calm and confidence emerge naturally when small promises are consistently kept. Self-trust creates resilience against fear, stress, and doubt. Each fulfilled commitment compounds, producing a sense of control, competence, and stability that extends beyond money to all areas of life. The act of keeping small financial promises transforms character. It builds discipline, patience, reliability, and confidence. Over time, these traits create a life in which financial decisions are made with clarity, calm, and authority. Self-trust reduces hesitation, fear, and overthinking, allowing deliberate and empowered action.
Chapter 6. Slow down thinking to stop self-sabotaging decisions. Most people make decisions too quickly, reacting to the first impulse that enters their mind. The speed of modern life encourages instant responses, constant stimulation, and rapid judgments, yet the brain is not designed to make optimal choices in this state. Self-sabotaging decisions often emerge from rushed thinking because the mind has not fully considered consequences, evaluated options, or processed emotions. Slowing down thought is not laziness, it is a strategic pause that allows clarity, insight, and intentional action to guide behavior. When the mind is allowed the time it needs to think, the risk of self-sabotage decreases dramatically and confidence in decision-making rises. Rushing through choices creates vulnerability. People frequently respond emotionally rather than logically, letting anxiety, excitement, or fear dictate outcomes. Decisions made under these conditions often look good in the moment, but lead to regret later. The body reacts with tension, increased heart rate, and scattered attention, all of which distort perception. Slowing down allows these reactions to settle, creating mental space for clear evaluation. Awareness of physical and emotional cues is critical to breaking the cycle of impulsive decisions. Many individuals confuse speed with efficiency. Quick decisions can feel productive, but if the outcome is negative, the apparent efficiency is illusory. True efficiency comes from making the right decision the first time, not making a fast decision that requires repeated correction. Slowing down thinking prevents repetitive mistakes, saving time and energy in the long run. Each moment spent deliberately evaluating options is an investment in better outcomes. Cognitive overload contributes to self-sabotage. The modern mind processes a constant stream of information from phones, social media, and work demands. When the brain is overwhelmed, shortcuts dominate thinking, leading to snap judgments. These shortcuts are not inherently wrong but are often applied incorrectly under pressure. Deliberate slowing of thought reduces mental noise, allowing the brain to focus on relevant information, evaluate possibilities, and choose action aligned with goals. Self-awareness is the first tool for slowing thinking. Observing the mind in action, noting patterns of reaction, and identifying triggers for impulsivity creates understanding. Recognizing when anxiety, excitement, or pressure is influencing decisions allows you to intentionally pause. This pause is not hesitation, it is control. Each deliberate pause reinforces the neural pathways that favor considered action rather than automatic response. Reflection is powerful. Before making decisions, mentally review options, consequences, and personal objectives. Ask questions such as, what is my goal? What outcomes am I trying to avoid? And what evidence supports this choice? By systematically evaluating these factors, impulsive tendencies diminish. Reflection also provides emotional cooling, reducing the influence of reactive state. Each act of reflection strengthens the habit of thoughtful decision-making. Time is a critical factor. Many self-sabotaging decisions occur under perceived urgency. Deadlines, pressure, or external expectations trigger rapid responses without sufficient analysis. Learning to create mental space, even briefly, allows perspective to emerge. A few seconds to pause, a few minutes to consider, or a structured review process can prevent errors that result from rush. The mind requires time to integrate information, evaluate risks, and identify the best course of action. Breaking problems into smaller components reduces overwhelm. Complex decisions feel urgent and intimidating, prompting hasty action. By separating decisions into clear, manageable parts, the mind can process information sequentially, reducing stress and increasing clarity. Step-by-step evaluation creates control, allowing confident choices instead of reactive response. Each small assessment becomes a building block for a deliberate, structured approach. Managing emotions is essential. Fear, frustration, or desire can hijack rational thought if not acknowledged. Slowing down allows emotions to settle, enabling the mind to act from reasoning rather than reaction. Techniques such as deep breathing, physical grounding, or momentary withdrawal from the situation help regulate emotional intensity. Emotional calm provides a stable platform for deliberate, intelligent decision-making. Past experience informs the need for caution. Individuals often repeat self-sabotaging patterns because they have not internalized lessons from previous mistakes. Taking time to reflect on outcomes, analyze causes, and adjust strategies reduces repetition of negative behavior. Slow, intentional thought allows the brain to integrate learning from past experiences into present action. Each reflection strengthens insight and reinforces improved decision-making. Clarity emerges when thinking is slow. Rushed decisions often focus on immediate gains or superficial information. By slowing the process, the mind evaluates underlying factors, long-term consequences, and alignment with personal goals. This depth of consideration prevents shortcuts from leading to mistakes and ensures that choices are consistent with values and objectives. Decision frameworks enhance deliberate thinking. Structured approaches, such as pros and cons lists, scenario analysis, or evaluation matrices, provide guidance for complex choices. Frameworks create a systematic method for integrating information, reducing reliance on impulse. The more consistently frameworks are applied, the more naturally deliberate thinking becomes. Habitual use strengthens the brain's capacity to pause and assess effectively. Self-trust is reinforced through repeated practice. Each time you slow down and make a well-considered choice, confidence in your own judgment grows. This internal trust reduces anxiety and hesitation in future decisions, creating a positive feedback loop. Over time, the brain begins to expect competent, deliberate action, reducing the likelihood of impulsivity and self-sabotage. Awareness of cognitive biases is critical. Quick thinking often falls prey to overconfidence, confirmation bias, or emotional distortion. Slowing down creates space to recognize these biases, evaluate evidence objectively, and make balanced choices. The deliberate mind questions assumptions, rather than accepting initial impressions, producing more accurate, reliable outcomes. Physical environment influences decision quality. Distractions, noise, and multitasking increase impulsivity. Creating calm, focused surroundings encourages deliberate thought. Simple practices, such as clearing workspaces, scheduling uninterrupted time, or reducing digital interruptions, support mental clarity. A controlled environment signals to the brain that careful evaluation is expected and achievable. Mindset shapes the process. Viewing careful consideration as strength rather than hesitation encourages slower thinking. Recognizing that intentional pausing is a tool for improved outcomes, not procrastination, reinforces confidence. Each successful deliberate decision demonstrates the value of patience, reinforcing the habit of slowing down to improve results. Prioritization is key. Many decisions compete for attention, and reactive choices often prioritize urgency over importance. Slowing thinking allows evaluation of what truly matters. Sorting decisions according to impact, alignment with long-term goals, and potential consequences ensures that time and energy are invested wisely. Prioritization reduces chaos, prevents reactive behavior, and supports meaningful progress. Visualization aids the process. Mentally rehearsing decisions, potential obstacles, and strategies allows the mind to process complex scenarios without the pressure of immediate action. Visualization strengthens planning skills, reduces anxiety, and builds confidence in executing thoughtful choices. Each rehearsal prepares the mind to respond calmly and effectively in real situations. Breaking choices into essential elements reduces mental strain and allows for clearer evaluation. Simple processes strengthen focus and prevent self-sabotage caused by overwhelm. Each simplified step reinforces deliberate action as the default mode. Reflection after decisions strengthens learning. Reviewing outcomes, analyzing the effectiveness of thought processes, and identifying areas for improvement ensures that slow, deliberate thinking produces tangible results. Reflection transforms deliberate practice into lasting skill, increasing the likelihood of avoiding self-sabotage in the future. Slow thinking reduces impulsive spending. Many financial mistakes occur because decisions are made in reaction to desire, stress, or social influence. Pausing allows evaluation of necessity, value, and long-term impact. Conscious consideration of expenditures builds discipline, supports savings, and strengthens self-trust. Each thoughtful financial choice compounds over time into greater stability and security. Communication decisions benefit from this approach as well.
Responses to colleagues, partners, or clients often produce regret when made hastily. Slowing down allows for measured language, thoughtful framing, and accurate interpretation of information. This reduces misunderstandings, preserves relationships, and promotes professional and personal success. The nervous system adjusts with practice. Initially, slowing thought may feel uncomfortable because it opposes habitual reactive patterns. Over time, repeated practice trains the brain to tolerate pause, reflection, and delayed action. Calm, deliberate decision-making becomes habitual, reducing stress and increasing confidence. Time management enhances deliberate thinking, allocating sufficient time for evaluation, planning, and reflection ensures that choices are not forced under pressure. Scheduled pauses, strategic planning sessions, and structured review periods support mental clarity and reduce self-sabotage. Accountability strengthens the habit. Sharing decisions or plans with mentors or peers provides feedback and reinforcement. External observation motivates adherence to deliberate thought, while internal trust grows with each responsible choice executed. Accountability complements, but does not replace the internal practice of slow thinking. Long-term thinking is reinforced. Each deliberate decision contributes to broader goals, providing perspective and purpose. Immediate impulses lose their appeal when the mind recognizes the connection between careful choices and meaningful outcomes. Strategic patience becomes natural, and self-sabotaging behaviors diminish. The benefits extend beyond finance, health, career, relationships, and personal growth all improve when the mind engages in measured evaluation. Self-sabotage in any area decreases when deliberate thought is the default response. Each slow, intentional action strengthens discipline, confidence, and resilience. Every choice made with calm reflection reinforces the pattern. The brain begins to expect thoughtful analysis, reducing stress, improving decision-making, and enhancing outcomes. Over time, this practice produces a mind capable of navigating complexity with clarity, balance, and confidence.
Chapter 7. Allow money growth without guilt or inner conflict. Many people struggle with money because they carry guilt or internal conflict about wealth. They feel undeserving, worry about what others might think, or associate financial success with negative personal qualities. This inner resistance creates invisible barriers that prevent money from growing naturally. Wealth is not inherently wrong, and prosperity does not need to produce anxiety. Allowing money to grow without guilt requires understanding, self-acceptance, and deliberate mental alignment with financial goals. The first step is recognizing that feelings of conflict are learned responses, often rooted in family beliefs, social conditioning, or past experiences. Guilt frequently arises when wealth is pursued aggressively, while others around you appear to struggle. People imagine judgment or comparison, which creates stress and hesitancy. This mindset produces self-sabotaging decisions, like undercharging, avoiding investment, or neglecting opportunities. The brain interprets internal conflict as danger, prompting caution instead of action. Breaking this pattern requires reframing beliefs about money as a neutral tool that can serve both personal and communal good. Wealth itself is not harmful. It is the intention and use that define its value. Self-worth plays a central role. Many individuals unconsciously link money to personal identity or morality. They may believe that earning more means being greedy or selfish. This belief is damaging because it constrains potential. Recognizing that financial success is compatible with integrity and contribution allows the mind to welcome growth without resistance. Self-worth is reinforced when actions are aligned with values, rather than internalized guilt. Every ethical financial decision strengthens the belief that prosperity can coexist with principle. Internal dialogue shapes experience. Negative self-talk such as, "I don't deserve this," or "I shouldn't charge that much," undermines confidence and creates friction. Awareness of these thoughts allows intervention. Replacing guilt-driven narratives with statements that emphasize entitlement, capability, and responsibility shifts perception. Mental repetition of empowering beliefs gradually rewires the brain, reducing anxiety and opening space for money to grow naturally. Past experiences influence current attitudes toward wealth. People who grew up in scarcity often associate abundance with anxiety or obligation. They may fear judgment or anticipate conflict whenever opportunities for financial gain appear. Conscious reflection on these patterns allows identification of triggers and deliberate response. Understanding the origin of guilt provides insight into overcoming it. Each time money is accepted without judgment, the nervous system learns that abundance is safe and deserved. Ethical alignment is essential. Inner conflict often arises from actions that clash with personal principles. Ensuring that financial strategies, investments, and business practices are aligned with ethical values reduces cognitive dissonance. When decisions reflect integrity, guilt diminishes. The mind experiences consistency, and the body responds with calm, reducing tension and promoting confident action. Prosperity becomes a tool for creating value rather than a source of stress. Setting boundaries prevents overextension. Guilt is frequently tied to the perception of responsibility for others' well-being. While generosity is positive, assuming undue obligation can create inner conflict. Clear boundaries allow financial growth without psychological strain. By consciously defining what you can give and what you must retain, wealth accumulation becomes sustainable and guilt-free. Each boundary reinforces autonomy and self-respect. Tracking progress reinforces comfort with growth. Regularly monitoring income, savings, and investments provides tangible evidence that financial expansion is achievable and secure. Visualizing growth, planning allocations, and observing results teach the mind to associate abundance with stability rather than anxiety. Tangible proof replaces abstract fear, reducing inner conflict and increasing confidence. Abundance mindset is critical. Scarcity thinking fosters guilt because it emphasizes limitation and competition. A mindset focused on abundance understands that wealth creation benefits both the individual and community. There is enough opportunity, resources, and success to achieve goals without harming others. Viewing money as neutral energy that can be directed purposefully removes moral judgment and reduces tension. Responsibility reinforces comfort with wealth. Accepting growth without guilt is not about indulgence, but about stewardship. Acting responsibly with money, saving, investing, and contributing reinforces a sense of control. Control reduces anxiety because it demonstrates mastery rather than luck. Each responsible choice strengthens the belief that money can grow safely without internal opposition. Comparisons amplify conflict. People frequently measure themselves against peers, media representations, or societal expectations, which fuels guilt and anxiety. Focusing on personal progress rather than external benchmarks reduces tension. Your path to financial growth is unique, and internal comparison is counterproductive. Observing personal milestones and valuing consistency over external validation promotes inner peace and encourages natural accumulation. Visualization and mental rehearsal prepare the mind to accept growth. Imagining handling increased wealth responsibly, making strategic choices, and experiencing financial security teaches the brain that abundance is manageable. Mental rehearsal reduces emotional resistance, decreases stress, and reinforces the belief that money can grow without negative consequences. Gradual exposure strengthens comfort. Start with small steps, such as saving a higher percentage of income or reinvesting profit. Each incremental increase in financial responsibility builds confidence. Over time, comfort with larger amounts grows. The mind adapts to the experience of abundance, and guilt diminishes naturally. Small successes compound into a deep-seated sense of security and entitlement to prosperity. Education supports acceptance.
Knowledge of financial systems, investment strategies, and money management reduces uncertainty, which is often the root of internal conflict. When you understand processes, risks, and benefits, anxiety decreases, competence produces confidence, and confidence allows money to expand without psychological resistance. The more informed the mind, the less space there is for guilt or hesitation. Reflection allows integration. Journaling, or thinking through emotions associated with money, helps identify sources of discomfort. Reflection separates rational understanding from emotional reaction, providing clarity. Each moment of insight reinforces the belief that financial growth is acceptable and aligns with personal values. Awareness transforms internal tension into deliberate strategy. Gratitude reinforces positive association, recognizing the benefits that financial growth provides. Freedom, security, and opportunity shifts focus from guilt to appreciation. Gratitude creates emotional alignment with abundance, reducing resistance. The mind begins to associate money with empowerment rather than conflict, encouraging responsible growth. Generosity amplifies comfort with money. Sharing resources intentionally, strategically, and willingly demonstrates that wealth can circulate without negative consequence. When contributions are purposeful rather than guilt-driven, the brain recognizes abundance as safe, reinforcing trust in financial growth. Giving becomes a conscious choice rather than a reaction to internal pressure, eliminating internal tension. Mindset alignment strengthens sustainability. Internal conflict arises when actions, intentions, and beliefs are inconsistent. Ensuring that money-related choices reflect personal values creates harmony. Each alignment of thought and action reduces tension, increases clarity, and allows wealth to grow naturally. Consistency strengthens identity and reduces the cognitive load that triggers guilt. Self-compassion is essential. People often punish themselves mentally for wanting or achieving wealth. Recognizing that it is normal to pursue security, growth, and opportunity fosters self-acceptance. Compassion reduces negative internal dialogue, allowing the mind to embrace prosperity without resistance. Each act of self-kindness reinforces the belief that abundance is both deserved and achievable. Long-term planning supports psychological establishing financial goals, structured savings, and investment strategies, provides clarity. Knowing the path reduces uncertainty, which is often mistaken for guilt. Each milestone achieved along the plan reinforces the comfort of growth, transforming anxiety into confidence. Strategic foresight creates mental space for abundance without internal conflict. Breaking limiting beliefs is crucial. Many internal conflicts stem from inherited or learned ideas about money. Beliefs such as rich people are greedy or money corrupts create automatic resistance. Challenging and replacing these beliefs with rational, empowering alternatives clears the way for guilt-free growth. Conscious belief formation rewires thought patterns, reducing friction and supporting sustainable financial development. Accountability reinforces confidence. Seeking mentorship, guidance, or advisory support ensures that growth occurs within structure. External validation supplements internal alignment, providing reassurance that decisions are sound. Mentorship teaches that financial growth is a skill rather than luck, decreasing guilt and internal resistance. Adaptation is key. Life circumstances, opportunities, and responsibilities evolve. Embracing flexibility allows financial growth without internal struggle. Resisting change produces conflict. Accepting evolution fosters ease. Each adaptive decision reinforces trust in personal judgment, strengthening comfort with abundance. Emotional regulation prevents sabotage. Excitement, fear, or shame can distort decision. Techniques such as mindfulness, breathing, and reflection create emotional stability, allowing rational evaluation and deliberate action. Emotional control is essential for wealth to grow without internal opposition. Financial literacy reduces anxiety. Understanding tax, investment, and savings mechanisms allows informed, confident action. Knowledge transforms fear into control and guilt into empowerment. Each decision is supported by understanding rather than emotion, producing calm and consistent progress. Integration of personal and financial values creates harmony. When money serves purpose and aligns with life goals, guilt disappears. Wealth becomes an enabler rather than a source of stress. Each action reinforces alignment, making financial growth a natural extension of deliberate living. Over time, accepting money without guilt produces freedom. Decisions are clear, opportunities are seized without hesitation, and growth occurs without internal friction. The nervous system responds calmly, confidence strengthens, and wealth accumulation becomes a sustainable, empowering process.
Chapter 8. Strengthen patience muscles that wealth quietly depends on. Patience is one of the most overlooked, yet essential qualities for building wealth. Many people underestimate its power because society glorifies speed, instant results, and immediate gratification. The truth is, most financial success, personal growth, and long-term stability depend not on speed, but on consistent, patient action. Wealth does not arrive overnight. It quietly accumulates through disciplined choices over time. Strengthening patience is not a passive process. It is an active, deliberate cultivation of self-control, foresight, and emotional resilience that allows the mind to stay steady when results are not immediately visible. Impatience leads to errors, impulsive decisions, and anxiety. People who chase quick returns often take unnecessary risks, overspend, or make poor investments. They confuse busyness with progress and excitement with growth. Patience, on the other hand, allows observation, planning, and calculated action. It creates space to evaluate opportunities thoroughly, anticipate challenges, and avoid shortcuts that lead to regret. Each deliberate pause reinforces control and reduces susceptibility to impulsive behavior. Understanding that wealth accumulates usually is foundation. Money grows when small decisions compound consistently. Savings, investments, and skill development all require time to bear fruit. Impatience undermines these processes because it encourages early withdrawal, hasty action, or distraction by novelty. By committing to the long-term process and trusting in compounding outcomes, patience becomes an ally rather than a restraint. Every delayed gratification contributes to a stronger financial future. Developing patience begins with awareness of triggers. Stress, comparison to others, or fear of missing out often catalyze impatience. Noticing these feelings allows for deliberate response rather than reactive behavior. Recognizing the urge to rush and choosing measured action strengthens the mental patience muscle. Over time, this awareness becomes automatic and the mind naturally resists impulsive tendencies. Patience requires managing expectations. Many people fail to achieve financial goals because they expect rapid results without consistent effort. Misaligned expectations create frustration, stress, and a sense of failure. Aligning expectations with reality, understanding that wealth is built over months and years, not hours and days, reduces tension. This clarity allows calm persistence rather than frantic, counterproductive activity. Consistency reinforces patience. Small actions, repeated regularly, produce cumulative results. Daily saving, gradual investment, skill improvement, and careful planning are more powerful than sporadic bursts of effort. Each consistent action strengthens the belief that patience yields results. The mind begins to associate discipline with progress, replacing the desire for immediate reward with confidence in steady accumulation. Self-control is central to patience. Emotional impulses, whether desire, fear, or envy, often derail progress. Developing self-control allows the mind to resist distractions and maintain focus on long-term objectives. Techniques such as mindful breathing, structured planning, or deliberate reflection reduce impulsivity. Each act of restraint strengthens the neural pathways associated with patience, making it increasingly automatic. Time perspective influences patience. Short-term thinking amplifies frustration and impulsivity, while long-term cultivates calm. Visualizing outcomes months or years ahead creates perspective, reducing the need for immediate results. Imagining the benefits of waiting, the security of steady growth, and the power of compounding strengthens the mental ability to delay gratification without anxiety. Observation of natural patterns demonstrates the value of patience. Trees do not produce fruit overnight. Skills are honed over repeated practice, and wealth grows through disciplined accumulation. Recognizing these natural processes reinforces the understanding that deliberate, patient effort is the most reliable path to desired outcomes. Each observed pattern becomes a lesson in strategic waiting. Avoiding comparison supports patient growth. Many people measure progress against peers, social media, or societal standards. This triggers impatience and self-doubt. Focusing on personal objectives and internal benchmarks allows the mind to remain steady. Each completed step, however small, contributes to overall growth, reinforcing the value of patient effort. Reflection enhances patience. Taking time to review past decisions, observe results, and analyze progress provides context and understanding. Reflection shows that steady effort produces results over time, and that impatience often leads to mistakes. By internalizing these lessons, the mind develops confidence in the process, reinforcing patience as a strategic advantage rather than a limitation. Patience strengthens problem solving. Impulsive actions often exacerbate challenges, while measured responses create opportunities for insight and creative solutions. By slowing down and allowing time for analysis, the mind can evaluate options, anticipate consequences, and make informed choices. Each successful resolution reinforces the efficacy of patience, making it more likely to be applied in future situations. Emotional regulation is key. Impatience often arises from anxiety, stress, or learning to manage these emotions through awareness, breathing, or grounding exercises allows for deliberate decision-making. Emotional stability provides a platform where patience can operate effectively, reducing impulsive tendencies and enhancing strategic action. Habits support patience. Repeated practice of small, disciplined behaviors builds internal trust and reinforces long-term thinking. Consistent saving, planned investments, and gradual skill improvement all require habitual patience. Over time, these habits create a framework where deliberate action becomes automatic, reducing the influence of temporary impulses. Imagining the benefits of long-term growth and the potential consequences of rash decisions strengthens motivation to remain patient. Visualization creates a mental rehearsal for enduring temporary discomfort, increasing resilience, and reducing anxiety about delayed outcomes. Accountability encourages persistence. Sharing goals with mentors, peers, or family creates external reinforcement for patient behavior. External accountability reduces the temptation to seek immediate gratification, while internal trust strengthens with each successfully completed action. Accountability complements patience by providing perspective and motivation. Gratitude enhances endurance. Appreciating progress, however small, reinforces the value of steady effort. Gratitude shifts focus from what is lacking to what has been achieved, reducing frustration and supporting continued patient action. Recognizing milestones strengthens the mental association between perseverance and tangible results. Incremental challenges
build resilience. Each situation requiring delayed action strengthens mental tolerance for waiting and reinforces confidence in future efforts. Gradual exposure to controlled challenges trains the mind to endure discomfort without resorting to impulsive choices. Over time, patience becomes instinctive, and the body and mind respond calmly to delayed rewards. Decision frameworks support strategic patience. Evaluating options systematically, considering potential outcomes, and prioritizing actions reduce reactive behavior. Structured evaluation allows for deliberate, measured decisions rather than impulsive responses. The more consistently frameworks are applied, the more automatic patient behavior becomes. Patience reduces stress. Impulsive decisions often create unexpected consequences, regret and anxiety. Deliberate waiting allows for careful consideration, reducing errors and minimizing emotional strain. A calm, patient approach ensures decisions are thoughtful and aligned with long-term objectives. Each successful outcome reinforces mental stability and confidence. Financial patience compounds wealth. Investments, savings, and resource allocation require time to grow. Resisting the urge to withdraw, spend impulsively, or chase rapid returns allows compounding to take effect. Each calculated, patient decision builds security and opportunity, creating momentum that accelerates over years. The mind learns to associate waiting with reward rather than frustration. Rushed decisions in partnerships, negotiations, or collaborations often lead to conflict or missed opportunities. Taking time to listen, evaluate, and respond fosters trust, understanding, and better outcomes. Patience in social interactions mirrors financial patience, reinforcing a disciplined, strategic approach across life domains. Self-confidence grows through repeated demonstration of patience. Each time delayed action produces positive results. Belief in one's ability to manage challenges and opportunities increases. This internal trust reduces doubt, strengthens decision-making, and enhances resilience against setbacks. Confidence and patience reinforce each other, creating a stable foundation for sustained growth. Mindset alignment ensures consistency, viewing patience as an active, powerful tool rather than passive waiting shifts perception. Each deliberate action, taken with calm foresight, reinforces the mental association between persistence and success. Over time, patience becomes an empowering strategy rather than a limitation or source of frustration. Proper rest, nutrition, and exercise maintain energy and reduce impulsive tendencies caused by fatigue or stress. The body's stability influences mental clarity, allowing for more consistent, deliberate action. Physical well-being is intertwined with the mental capacity to endure delayed gratification and sustain long-term effort. Education reinforces strategic patience. Understanding financial principles, market dynamics, and compounding growth increases confidence in long-term plans. Knowledge reduces anxiety about delayed outcomes and validates the approach of steady, patient action. Each informed decision strengthens trust in the process and reduces temptation to pursue short-term thrills. Mindful awareness strengthens the ability to wait, observing thoughts, impulses, and emotional responses without immediate action allows for reflection and strategic choice. Mindfulness trains the brain to tolerate uncertainty and reinforces the habit of measured response. Each pause creates a foundation for deliberate, confident decision-making. Over time, strengthened patience muscles produce consistent results. The nervous system adapts to delayed gratification, the mind associates effort with reward, and opportunities are seized. Strategic, impulsive behavior diminishes, stress decreases, and wealth growth becomes natural and reliable. Patience allows action without anxiety, and success without sacrifice of mental clarity.
Chapter 9. Respond thoughtfully instead of reacting under pressure. Pressure is an inevitable part of life, whether it comes from deadlines, financial stress, relationships, or unexpected challenges. How you respond under pressure determines the trajectory of your success more than the pressure itself. Reacting impulsively often leads to mistakes, regret, and lost opportunities. Thoughtful responses, on the other hand, create control, clarity, and confidence. Learning to respond thoughtfully requires deliberate practice, emotional awareness, and mental discipline. It is not about suppressing emotion or avoiding stress, but about managing both, so that your actions are aligned with long-term goals rather than momentary impulses. When under pressure, the mind often defaults to survival mode. This triggers reactive behaviors like panic spending, hasty decisions, or defensive communication. These responses feel instinctive and urgent, but rarely produce favorable outcomes. Thoughtful response interrupts this automatic reaction. By creating a pause between stimulus and action, you give your brain the opportunity to assess, evaluate, and choose wisely. Each pause strengthens your ability to act deliberately, turning pressure from a threat into an opportunity for measured action. Emotional regulation is central to thoughtful response. Pressure often amplifies emotions, such as fear, frustration, or excitement. These emotions distort judgment and impair decision-making. By acknowledging emotions without letting them control action, you maintain clarity. Techniques such as deep breathing, mindful observation, or brief mental distancing help reduce emotional intensity. The calmer the mind, the more accurately it can evaluate options and select actions that align with your objectives. Understanding triggers is critical. Certain situations provoke predictable reaction. Perhaps financial stress causes anxiety-driven spending, criticism sparks defensive responses, or tight deadlines trigger hasty action. Identifying these triggers allows for preparation. Awareness transforms pressure from an uncontrollable force into a manageable variable. When you know what provokes reactive behavior, you can design strategies to respond thoughtfully rather than instinctively. Observation of consequences reinforces learning. Reflecting on past situations where reactive behavior caused negative outcomes provides insight. Conversely, noting instances where calm, measured responses led to positive results reinforces the value of thoughtful action. Reflection strengthens the neural pathways that support deliberate behavior under stress, making it increasingly automatic over time. Each experience serves as a lesson in managing pressure effectively. Prioritization is essential during pressure. When multiple demands compete for attention, reactive minds often address only the most urgent or emotionally salient issues, not necessarily the most important. Thoughtful response involves evaluating which actions will produce the greatest benefit and focusing energy there. By consistently prioritizing effectively, you reduce chaos, prevent mistakes, and achieve strategic outcomes. Each correct prioritization strengthens confidence in your ability to navigate high-pressure situations. Deadlines may still exist, but structured approaches ensure that responses are deliberate rather than impulsive. Allocating even brief moments for reflection, note-taking, or assessment dramatically improves decision quality and prevents regret. Time becomes a tool, not a source of stress. Clarity is a natural outcome of thoughtful response. Pressure clouds judgment, while deliberate evaluation clarifies options, risks, and outcomes. By articulating the problem, considering alternatives, and assessing potential consequences, decisions become purposeful rather than reactive. Clarity reduces confusion, increases confidence, and ensures that actions align with long-term objectives. Each deliberate response reinforces mental clarity under stress. Communication is particularly vulnerable under pressure. Reactive responses often involve defensiveness, aggression, or misunderstanding. Thoughtful response requires listening, processing, and responding intentionally. Active listening allows for accurate comprehension, while delayed, measured responses reduce miscommunication. Relationships are preserved, trust is reinforced, and outcomes are optimized. Each instance of calm, strategic communications strengthens interpersonal effectiveness and resilience under pressure. Cognitive framing is a powerful tool. Pressure can be reframed as an opportunity for growth, rather than a threat. Viewing stressful situations as tests of capability encourages problem-solving and deliberate action. Mental framing shifts the internal narrative from victimhood to empowerment, reducing panic and promoting rational responses. Each reframed scenario reinforces the association between pressure and strategic thinking rather than reactionary stress. Self-trust is reinforced through repeated thoughtful responses. Each time a challenging situation is navigated calmly and successfully, confidence grows. This internal trust reduces hesitation in future high-pressure circumstances, creating a positive feedback loop. The more you rely on your ability to respond intentionally, the less likely you are to succumb to reactive behavior, strengthening resilience and decisiveness. Preparation minimizes reactive impulses. Anticipating potential challenges, planning responses, and visualizing outcomes equips the mind to act thoughtfully. Preparation reduces uncertainty, which is a primary trigger for impulsive behavior. Each scenario rehearsed mentally builds confidence and ensures that, when pressure arises, you respond from strategy rather than panic. Simplicity in approach aids thoughtful response. Complex, overcomplicated strategies under pressure increase the likelihood of mistakes. Breaking tasks into manageable, clear steps allows the mind to process information efficiently, reducing error and impulsivity. Simplicity fosters calm, focused action and creates a sense of control even in chaotic situations. Each simplified decision builds confidence and reinforces deliberate action. Accountability supports growth. Mentors, colleagues, or peers provide external perspective and feedback, ensuring that thoughtful approaches are maintained under pressure. Accountability reinforces the habit of deliberate response, offers guidance when clarity falters, and provides validation that measured action is effective. Combined with internal discipline, accountability strengthens resilience and decision-making under stress. Learning from mistakes ensures progress. Even with thoughtful preparation, errors can occur. Reflecting on what caused reactive tendencies, identifying improvements, and adjusting strategies strengthens the capacity to respond deliberately in future situations. Mistakes become tools for skill development rather than sources of regret, reinforcing resilience and strategic thinking under pressure. Mindset determines response quality. Viewing pressure as an opportunity for deliberate action rather than a threat reduces stress and encourages thoughtful decision-making. The mental state you adopt under stress directly impacts your ability to act intentionally. Confidence, calm, and clarity emerge when pressure is interpreted as manageable and meaningful, rather than overwhelming. Each experience under pressure trains the brain to respond strategically rather than reactively. Physical cues are important to manage. Stress manifests in the body through increased heart rate, tension, and shallow breathing, all of which impair judgment. Recognizing these signals and regulating them through posture, breathing, or brief breaks reduces the influence of pressure on decision-making. The calmer the body, the clearer the mind, allowing for thoughtful responses rather than impulsive reactions. Gradual exposure builds resilience. Intentionally placing yourself in manageable high-pressure situations provides practice for maintaining composure. Each successful navigation strengthens the neural pathways that support thoughtful response, making calm, deliberate action more automatic. Over time, exposure reduces fear, increases confidence, and enhances problem-solving ability under stress. Focus enhances response quality. Pressure often scatters attention, making errors more likely. Concentrating on critical elements, essential decisions,
and the information that truly matters ensures that action is purposeful. Focused attention allows strategic assessment, reduces distractions, and enhances the likelihood of favorable outcomes. Each moment of disciplined focus reinforces the habit of deliberate, high-quality responses. Flexibility is crucial. Thoughtful response does not mean rigidity. Conditions may change, and pressure can introduce unexpected variables. Adapting while maintaining strategic evaluation ensures that decisions remain effective even when circumstances shift. Flexibility combined with deliberate analysis allows for better problem solving and reduces impulsive reactions that arise from surprise or frustration. Long-term thinking prevents reactive behavior. Pressure often amplifies the desire for immediate resolution. Considering long-term consequences, alignment with goals, and potential ripple effects reduces the temptation to act impulsively. Strategic patience allows for responses that are both effective and aligned with broader objectives. Each well-considered choice strengthens capacity for future deliberate action. Gratitude under pressure provides perspective. Recognizing achievements, resources, or opportunities helps reduce anxiety and impulsive. Gratitude shifts focus from scarcity or threat to abundance and potential, creating mental space for calm, strategic response. Each moment of acknowledgement reinforces stability and enhances decision-making under stress. Reinforcing routines helps under pressure. Establishing consistent processes for evaluation, planning, and response ensures that even high-stress situations are navigated using familiar, deliberate frameworks. Routine reduces cognitive load, minimizes impulsive reaction, and enhances confidence. Over time, the mind associates structured action with successful outcomes, strengthening the habit of thoughtful response. Self-reflection reinforces learning. After stressful events, reviewing decisions, outcomes, and emotional responses strengthens understanding. Insight into triggers, effective strategies, and areas for improvement ensures continuous growth. Each reflective practice enhances the brain's ability to respond thoughtfully rather than reactively in future situations. Each thoughtful response under pressure builds resilience. The nervous system learns that stress does not need to trigger panic or impulsive action. Confidence grows, judgment sharpens, and opportunities are seized effectively. Thoughtful responses become automatic, allowing performance under pressure to improve steadily. Each success reinforces the ability to navigate complexity with calm clarity and intentionality.
Chapter 10. Live daily like someone who expects abundance. Living daily like someone who expects abundance begins with mindset. Most people approach life waiting for opportunity, luck, or external validation. They react to circumstances instead of intentionally shaping them. Expecting abundance means waking each day with clarity, purpose, and confidence that resources, opportunities, and success are available. It is not about entitlement or wishful thinking. It is about cultivating a mental framework that attracts consistent action, persistence, and opportunity. Each choice is influenced by the belief that growth, wealth, and achievement are natural outcomes of deliberate effort and disciplined habits. Daily expectation of abundance starts with clarity about goals. Knowing what you want provides direction for every decision and action. Without clear objectives, opportunities can be missed or wasted. When you live with abundance in mind, each task, interaction, and decision is aligned with a larger purpose. Focus becomes sharp, energy becomes directed, and actions produce measurable results. The mind begins to identify paths that align with these goals, reinforcing confidence and engagement. Action defines expectation. Belief in abundance without action is meaningless. Every morning should include deliberate steps toward objectives, whether financial, personal, or professional. Small, consistent actions compound over time. These habits reinforce the mindset of abundance because results, no matter how incremental, demonstrate the payoff of persistent effort. Each task completed under this mindset strengthens the internal belief that wealth and opportunity are accessible and achievable. Thought patterns shape reality. Expecting abundance requires conscious awareness of mental dialogue. Negative thoughts, such as "I don't have enough" or "I will fail," sabotage opportunity. Replacing these with proactive, positive thoughts rewires the brain to notice possibilities, solutions, and resources that might otherwise be ignored. Mental training allows perception to expand, making it easier to identify opportunities and respond decisively. Each day reinforces this neural pattern, creating a habit of noticing abundance rather than scarcity. Gratitude amplifies expectation. Recognizing the resources, relationships, and progress already present strengthens belief in future growth. Gratitude grounds the mind in what is available, reducing anxiety and reinforcing confidence. Daily acknowledgement of achievements, however small, transforms perception from limitation to potential. Each expression of appreciation signals to the brain that life is abundant and responsive, producing motivation to act purposefully and persistently. Discipline is essential. Living like someone who expects abundance does not mean passive waiting. It demands structured action. Setting routines, maintaining focus, and following through on commitments ensures that effort aligns with goals. Discipline sustains energy, prevents distractions, and creates momentum. Each day of consistent action reinforces the internal expectation that abundance is not random, but earned through deliberate behavior. Visualization strengthens the practice, mentally rehearsing desired outcomes, daily routines, and effective decisions prepares the mind to act confident. Seeing yourself achieve goals, handle challenges, and create success allows the nervous system to adjust, reducing anxiety and hesitation. Visualization primes the brain to recognize opportunities in real life, ensuring actions are deliberate and aligned with abundant thinking. Confidence is cultivated through evidence. Observing progress, results, and capabilities reinforces the belief in potential. Each success, no matter how small, is proof that effort produces reward. Confidence derived from repeated action and tangible outcomes sustains the mindset of abundance. The more you see positive outcomes from your deliberate behavior, the more naturally you operate from a perspective of expectation rather than scarcity. Financial awareness supports abundant living. Daily management of resources, budgeting, saving, and strategic investment demonstrates respect for wealth and ensures that abundance is sustainable. Monitoring progress reduces uncertainty, builds control, and reinforces the connection between deliberate action and positive results. Each responsible financial step confirms that abundance is predictable and achievable when approached intentionally. Opportunities are recognized by preparation. People who expect abundance prepare for challenges and openings alike. Education, skill development, and strategic planning ensure readiness. Preparedness allows immediate and confident action when chance appears, turning potential into realized outcome. Daily investment in learning and preparation strengthens the likelihood of success, reinforcing belief that the world provides when you are ready to receive. Relationships influence abundance. Surrounding yourself with supportive, motivated, and like-minded individuals reinforces positive expectations. These connections provide resources, insight, collaboration, and encouragement. Daily interaction with individuals who exemplify growth and success creates an environment where opportunity is visible, accessible, and achievable. Each meaningful engagement reinforces the mindset that abundance is a shared, attainable reality. Time management magnifies results. Allocating attention intentionally ensures that energy is directed toward high-value actions. Expecting abundance requires prioritization, of tasks that yield the greatest impact. Efficient use of time reduces wasted effort and enhances measurable progress. Each decision to focus on meaningful action reinforces the perception that effort and opportunity are connected, producing tangible advancement toward goals. Emotional intelligence supports abundant living. Recognizing and regulating feelings prevents negative emotions from undermining progress. Anger, frustration, or fear can distort decision-making and reduce opportunity recognition. Managing emotional responses ensures clarity, rationality, and strategic action. Each moment of controlled response strengthens the mind's ability to act from expectation rather than reaction, aligning behavior with the principles of abundance. Resilience is cultivated daily. Setbacks, mistakes, and challenges are inevitable. Responding with perseverance, reflection, and adaptation reinforces belief in eventual success. People who expect abundance understand that temporary obstacles do not define outcome. Each recovery from difficulty reinforces confidence, teaches lessons, and strengthens persistence, producing long-term momentum toward goals. Mindset shapes experience. A person who expects abundance perceives opportunities where others see limitation. Problems become challenges to solve rather than threats to avoid. Daily reinforcement of this perspective shapes decisions, actions, and interaction. The more consistently the mind interprets circumstances as rich with potential, the more naturally you attract favorable conditions, partnerships, and outcomes. Health supports consistent effort. Physical energy, mental clarity, and emotional stability are necessary to sustain daily engagement with opportunities. Adequate rest, exercise, and nutrition provide the foundation for deliberate action and decision-making. Neglecting health reduces capacity to act intentionally, weakening the practice of expecting abundance. Daily maintenance of well-being ensures readiness to act confidently and effectively. Accountability strengthens habit. Sharing goals with mentors, peers, or supportive networks provides external reinforcement and perspective. Accountability reduces the likelihood of procrastination and reinforces deliberate, consistent behavior. Observing others' progress and receiving feedback encourages adherence to routines, reinforces standards of excellence, and maintains the mindset that consistent effort produces results. Self-reflection reinforces learning. Daily review of choices, actions, and outcomes allows the mind to adjust strategies, recognize progress, and identify areas for improvement. Reflection creates awareness of personal patterns, strengthens judgment, and increases adaptability. Each moment of introspection supports growth, reinforces confidence, and strengthens the internal expectation of abundance. Contribution reinforces mindset. Engaging in purposeful giving, time, knowledge, or resources connects action with impact. Contribution creates a sense of purpose, reinforces ethical alignment, and enhances satisfaction with progress. Recognizing that wealth and opportunity can benefit others strengthens motivation and validates the mindset that abundance is natural, achievable, and sustainable. Consistency is central to expectation. Daily repetition of habits, routines, and practices compounds results over time. Small, purposeful actions accumulate into meaningful achievement. Each consistent effort reinforces confidence in the process, strengthens discipline, and affirms that abundance is a product of deliberate, repeatable behavior. Adaptability ensures sustainability. Circumstances, opportunities, and challenges shift constantly. Flexibility allows the mind to adjust without abandoning the expectation of abundance. Each adaptive choice reinforces resilience, ensures continued progress, and maintains alignment with goals despite change. Daily practice of adaptability
strengthens capacity to navigate uncertainty while remaining focused on outcomes. Mindful presence enhances opportunity recognition. Paying attention to the current environment, circumstances, and possibilities allows immediate and effective action. Expecting abundance requires noticing conditions, responding intentionally, and acting without delay when opportunities arise. Mindful awareness transforms perception, ensuring that effort aligns with reality and that abundance is engaged with actively rather than passively. Visualization and affirmation reinforce mental alignment. Daily imagining of success, positive outcomes, and confident action prepares the mind to recognize and respond to opportunity. Mental rehearsal strengthens belief in personal capability, reduces hesitation, and conditions the brain to expect favorable outcomes. Each practice reinforces confidence, initiative, and a habit of living with abundance in mind. Celebrating progress motivates continued effort. Acknowledging milestones, achievements, and learned lessons reinforces persistence, focus, and discipline. Celebrating success fosters confidence, reduces discouragement, and strengthens the association between deliberate action and reward. Each recognition of achievement reinforces the mindset that consistent effort produces tangible, abundant outcomes. Opportunity awareness expands with practice. By engaging with life actively, pursuing growth, and expecting success, the mind begins to notice possibilities that others overlook. Daily attention to potential, readiness to act, and strategic evaluation ensures that opportunities are acted upon efficiently. Each successful engagement strengthens the perception that abundance is not distant or rare, but accessible to those prepared to act. Living daily like someone who expects abundance integrates mindset, action, and strategy. It combines clarity, preparation, discipline, reflection, and emotional regulation. Each day becomes a building block in the creation of wealth, success, and personal fulfillment. Patience, consistency, and deliberate action compound over time, producing measurable progress. The nervous system, mindset, and habits all align with the reality that abundance is achievable, expected, and sustainable. The practice requires intentionality. Every choice, no matter how small, is an opportunity to reinforce the mindset of abundance. Decisions about time, resources, relationships, and energy are guided by the expectation of growth and opportunity. Daily living with this approach produces momentum, confidence, and resilience. Each step taken with this mindset strengthens the belief that success, wealth, and fulfillment are attainable and natural outcomes of consistent, deliberate effort.